Before Bill washed out of engineering, and I do say washed out, of engineering program at Los Angeles City College in 1966, he experienced being taught by Vince Grinnell, known for his unorthodox but effective teaching style. Bill will describe one instance. His speech is from the Advanced Manual Storytelling, project number 2, Let's Get Personal. It is 6 to 8 minutes, Barbara.
Yes.
Title is Panic in the Physics Lab. Please help me welcome Bill Jeffrey.
It was November 1965 at Los Angeles City College, and I was in Physics 101, that is the full engineering physics. The summer before I took what was called high school physics, but it was an abbreviated course, but this is the full thing. We had 3 theory meetings a week, then we had a lab on one day, 3 hours, and then earlier in that day we had a 1-hour recap of the previous lab class. So we would go over the results of the lab. So we would have the theory, it would describe what we were going to do in the lab so we would understand, then we would go into the lab, set up apparati, sometimes by ourselves, sometimes with partners. And then we would go home and do the lab report, bring it back the next week, and we would discuss those results. And so this is what happened during one of the recap sessions on a Thursday, I believe. And Mr. Vince Grinnell, later Dr. Vince Grinnell, would sometimes put on a funny accent. He'd say, "Hey, you guys, okay, what number did you get?" There were no girls in there, you know, no girl engineers at that time. And we'd usually, he'd go alphabetically, and 3 or 4 people would give numbers, and then he would discuss them. This time he said, "Okay, give me your numbers, you guys," and he went down. Abrams, 10.2. Baker, 9.8. Chaldea, 10.1. Davikian, 11.1. And normally he would quit, but he kept going. Edwards, 9.9. Farouk, 10.1. He keeps going. I'm getting nervous because I'm a J. George, 10.1. Howard's, 9.9. There's no I's. And he says, "Jeffrey," said it really low, mumbled. "Speak up, Jeffrey, I can't hear you." 30.3, sir.
Oh, gee.
He said, "What did you say, Jeffrey?" I said, 30.3, sir. He said, "Did you guys hear that?" Jeffrey said 30.3. Everybody else is just hitting around 10, and it's an experiment, so you got a little variation. Jeffrey's got 30.3. I mean, don't you feel weird about that, Jeffrey? No, I'm 18 years old. Yes, I was totally panicked. I did not have a clever answer, it's just, oh my God. And it's not even that, And he said, "Jeffrey, look, in the labs you have clear instructions on how to set up the apparatus, how to calibrate everything, the springs and all the weights and everything, to make sure your pulleys are spinning, and then you set it up, and then you take your measurements and you do it again and you check everything, make sure the numbers are right. Then you go home and you plug it in, you just plug it into the equation. Is that simple, Jeffrey?" "Yes, sir." "But you got 30.3, 30.2. Everybody else got around 10. What's the problem, Jeffrey?" "I don't know, sir. I have no idea." "Well, Jeffrey, wouldn't you like to change the number? Wouldn't you like to reconsider them and take a look at your lab?" I said, "I don't know, sir. I did what I could. I don't know. I thought he did it right." He says, "My God, Jeffrey, you've got the majority of you against you, the majority of the class against you, and you mean you're going to stick with that ridiculous number? I mean, did your measurement show you? Yeah. Did your theory show you? Yeah. And you're still going to stick with it?" "Yes, sir." "No, look, I'll just blow my brains out, step over the blood, and just leave me alone. And he said, well, it so happens, Jeffrey, you're right.
Woo! Okay.
He said, the reason I went through this is because everybody in here said that you wanted to be engineers. You're going to study, they say 4 years, that's a lie. It's going to take most of you 5 years to get this degree. You're going to work hard. Then you're going to take a test, whatever area. And that test is going to give you a license. That's your career. Not only that, that piece of paper is going to get you hired. And you're going to do things like check bridges, check dams, check rockets. And your signature is going to go on there that the design is correct and it's ready to go and the dam is safe and the bridge is not going to collapse. The only thing that you have going for you is your understanding of theory, your measurements, your numbers. You better get it right because people can die, millions of dollars can be wasted, and you can lose your job. You can lose not just your job at the company, but your entire career. They will ban you as an engineer. So make sure your numbers are right. And he said, here's the second thing about this. This is 1965. Remember 2 years ago, he said in 1963, the Baldwin Hills Dam collapsed. He said, they're still debating why, whose fault it was. He said, every time you see a major engineering failure, watch this, and you're going to see them trying to weasel out of it, and it's going to go right back to the engineer. Is his signature, then again, is his signature going to be on there? And if it's on there, and that collapsed, they're going to find out was there something going on that he didn't know about? And in fact, 1963, that dam, probably, this took them 20 to 30 years to get this, probably due to the soil, because of the oil drilling nearby, shifted. The dam was to spec. It was safe, according to that. So it wasn't the engineer's fault. It was something that they did not recognize. December 1967, 2 years after, the Silver Bridge collapse. And that was a very dumb design. Instead of cables, it had links, big links. One link fails, the whole bridge goes down, and that's what happened. 1940, Galloping Gertie, Varanza Narrows Bridge, Tacoma Narrows Bridge, excuse me. They didn't take into account the wind, and the wind blew, and it started wiggling, and it blew some more, wiggled more, and it got the resonant frequency, and this whole bridge was doing this. You can see films on YouTube. And pretty soon it just collapsed. Bad design. Johnstown flood, 1889. The original dam as designed was accurate, but somebody else, not the engineer, decided, oh, this is a rich man's dam. It was a private dam, private reservoir, and they had fish in it, so they didn't want the fish to escape when the water came up. So they blocked off the spillway, which means the dam overloaded, the dam collapsed, and hundreds and hundreds of people got killed. There's a whole list of these. Mississippi River levee failures recently. New Orleans flooded. The Space Shuttle Challenger, the first one. And if you want to see, which one is coming up there? If you want to see the results, you remember Richard Feynman and the rubber band and the ice water? No, but it was during they were examining what happened. The O-rings failed. And there's a tremendous amount of information on what happened. Basically, NASA had an entire systems failure at the personnel level. So, run your numbers, bet your life on it, because it's not just for engineers. Thank you, Barbara.